item number 4, which is 2020-4285, with access self-storage. We've got Councillor Morgan here, who's going to speak on behalf of his residents. Councillor Morgan, have you got a mic? Are you going to come down and do you want to come and sit over here? And then you can do your bit.
Okay.
So yes, Councillor Morgan, would you like to introduce yourself? You've got 5 minutes to talk to the committee and tell us whatever you think you'd like to on behalf of your residents. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you very much. My name is Rhodri Morgan. I'm one of the Conservative councillors in St Mary's Park. Residents have asked me to raise a number of issues on their behalf about this application, which can be grouped into 3 main themes, with these being the size and massing of the proposed building, the use of space and the type of housing the building offers, the impact the development would have in exasperating ASB and crime-related issues in the area. Turning first of all to the size and massing of the proposed building, the new development ranges from 8 to 13 storeys, while my colleague Councillor Melanie Hampton-Knives strongly advocated on behalf of residents in order to bring the proposed height down to this level from the original proposed height. The building is still too high for many residents who live in the area. This is demonstrated by the fact that over 520 objections have been received from local residents about the proposals. The sheer number of objections shows the real strength of feeling from residents against these proposals. The proposals also plan for 193 shared living rooms and 131 build-to-rent residential units. In terms of impact on amenity, the sheer scale and massing of this building will lead to a number of issues, including, but not limited to, a loss of light to Riverside Plaza, Battersea Reach and Chalmers House, loss of privacy from windows and communal terraces for a number of residents. Turning next to the use of space and the type of housing this building offers. Firstly, the plans outlined in this application would lead to a net loss of employment space. While some is being re-provided, it is not to the level that was offered before, and this is contrary to Part 5 of Policy E13 in Wandsworth's Employment and Industry document. Secondly, this offer will not solve the housing issues which we're experiencing in London and the wider UK. It merely kicks the can down the road. Rather than having such a large focus on co-living, this land could instead be used to create more permanent homes for families. A number of different companies are also planning or proposing to build large-scale co-living developments in this one ward, St Mary's Park. This creates a number of significant challenges for people who already live here. The co-living model is not a proven one in the UK. As I've already said, there are at least 3 companies who would like to build these kind of developments in this ward. One of these businesses, The Collective, which was also planning to launch a very similar offer to this one, very close to the proposed access storage development, went into administration last year. An article written about this case said, the nascent co-living market and its small units and focus on shared amenities has been hit hard by the pandemic. Having lived through 2 years of the pandemic, it seems very likely that many people will now be sceptical about living in this kind of development. As another article about The Collective said, demand for rooms at its properties fell during the pandemic as people left city centres and prioritised larger private living areas as they spent more time at home. This presents a risk that the units would not be occupied, detracting from an inclusive and high-quality urban neighbourhood. When there is a need for more family-focused accommodation in London, these proposals look like a very poor use of land. Also, looking at the proposals, 46% of the buy-to-rent homes are one-bedroom properties. According to DMH3, the percentage of one-bedroom properties should be no more than 20%, so at 46%, it is more than double what is deemed acceptable. Also, the Local Housing Needs Assessment, published in 2020, said it expected that the focus of new market housing provision will be on 2- and 3-bedroom properties. It also concludes by saying that conventional forms of housing should be considered before shared living. It is not fair to residents of St Mary's Park that our ward should be used as a testbed for an experimental and unproven concept, especially when there does not seem to be a demonstrable need for this housing tenure type. Instead, this land could be used to provide longer-term homes for residents, including affordable homes. Turning finally to the impact the development would have in exasperating ASB and crime-related issues in the area, importantly, the proposal seeks to remove the northern boundary wall between the application site and Battersea Reach. This is a huge concern for a significant number of residents who live at Battersea Reach. Any plans relating to the use of green space and the pathways for this development should be, at the very least, be a reserved matter to be decided at a future meeting of the Planning Applications Committee. And for very good reason. As already mentioned, there are already issues with ASB and crime in Battersea Reach, which have only got worse in recent years. The Battersea Reach Residents Association believes that these plans have been reviewed, when these plans have been reviewed and considered, not enough weight has been given to residents' concerns about crime and antisocial behaviour. Serious issues and crimes that already relate to this area include, but are not limited to, attempted housebreaking, bicycle theft, theft from cars, drug dealing and mail theft. Owing to many of these issues, my colleague Councillor Melanie Hampton and I arranged for a meeting between local police officers and some residents from Battersea Reach, which took place last year. Residents worry that if this northern boundary wall is removed, then it will make Battersea Reach even more permeable and will lead to even more issues here. A number of residents have raised concerns with us. If this wall was removed, it would lead to a number of security and privacy concerns, especially in relation to the nursery that is located nearby. There are already a number of other points in this area where people can access the river path, so another access point is not needed here. Based on all of these issues with the proposals, I'm asking that this application be rejected tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morgan, for packing a lot in there into what is a very complicated application. So, yes, colleagues.